like you. Be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Na Dior Pop. Have you ever experienced a simple moment that suddenly feels incredibly warm, like you're sitting right next to someone you care about? That's exactly the feeling many fans had during the latest live broadcast from Jeon Jungkook. What started as an ordinary live stream quickly turned into something deeply personal, filled with honesty, comfort, and unexpected emotion. It all began in the most relatable way. Jungkook casually shared that he had fallen asleep because he was hungry, then woke up and decided to cook ramen while going live. There was no grand plan, no polished setup, just Jungkook being completely himself. And that's what made it so special. The small details, the sound of boiling water, his relaxed expressions while eating, the way he casually switched between Korean and English, created an atmosphere that felt incredibly intimate. It didn't feel like watching a global superstar. It felt like sitting beside a friend. Beyond the simplicity, Jungkook showed genuine warmth. He joked, smiled, and even sent sweet flying kisses to ARMY, small gestures that melted hearts instantly. His presence carried a soft, comforting energy that made viewers feel seen and appreciated even through a screen. But this live wasn't just lighthearted. When the topic shifted to the Hooligan music project, his tone became more reflective. Jungkook spoke about deep conversations among the members of BTS, about the creative process, their hard work, and the mix of pride and uncertainty they felt. He admitted that even after giving their all, there's always a lingering question about how the final result will be received. His emotions felt raw and real, especially as he searched for the right words to explain feelings he himself was still processing. When discussing an upcoming major performance, Jungkook briefly misspoke about the timing, then laughed and corrected himself. It was a small, human moment that revealed just how nervous he truly was. Not just mentally, but physically. He described feeling tension in his body, a reminder of how much pressure he carries. Yet, in the middle of this serious topic, he returned to simple things, feeling too full, getting sleepy again. That contrast made everything feel even more real. A global artist, yet still someone who experiences the same small, everyday feelings as anyone else. He also talked about how impressive phone camera quality has become, especially when watching practice videos. However, he expressed a bit of frustration that some footage was released before the concert, feeling it might spoil the surprise. This reaction showed how much he cares about ARMY's experience. He wants every performance to feel magical and unexpected. Then came one of the most emotional moments of the live. Jungkook paused and apologized. He reflected on a previous broadcast and admitted that he might have made some fans uncomfortable. He explained that he doesn't really see himself as a public figure in the traditional sense, but he understands the responsibility that comes with his position. With sincerity in his voice, he apologized to anyone who may have felt uneasy and promised to be more mindful moving forward. It was raw, unscripted, and deeply genuine, a side of Jungkook that resonates because of its honesty. After that emotional moment, the mood lightened again as he shared a story about riding his motorcycle to Goyang for practice. He even edited a video of the ride and mentioned wanting to show it to fans. But in the middle of the story, he recalled witnessing an accident on the road. His tone shifted, more serious, more reflective. He emphasized the importance of driving safely, revealing a thoughtful and grounded side of himself. Language barriers also became a topic. Jungkook admitted that he mostly reads Korean comments because his English isn't strong enough yet. Half-jokingly, he suggested that fans who want their comments noticed might need to learn Korean. But behind the humor was something deeper, his story about Park Jimin. He shared how Jimin once worked incredibly hard to improve his English. Jungkook witnessed everything, the exhausting practice, the frustration, the determination. And without even realizing it, he was always there. Supporting him, staying by his side, sharing those moments quietly. That's when fans began to feel something deeper. Jungkook subtly revealed that he has always been there for Jimin. Not just physically, but emotionally. The dynamic between Jungkook and Jimin has always fascinated fans. In public, Jungkook respectfully calls him Hyung. But when it's just the two of them, that formality disappears. There's no distance, just laughter, teasing, and an unspoken comfort that feels incredibly natural. Their connection seems to exist in its own space, built on trust, warmth, and shared history. It's these small, unspoken moments that often move ARMY the most. Because what they see isn't just interaction, it's a bond that has grown over time, through challenges, support, and genuine care. Jungkook's emotional depth appeared again when he admitted that he once cried alone while listening to a song. He didn't go into detail, but it was enough to show how deeply he connects with music. He feels things intensely, even when no one is watching, and that vulnerability makes him even more relatable. When the topic turned to their upcoming album, his excitement returned. He explained that each member now has their own musical identity, and this project reflects that diversity. It's not about one unified sound, it's about showcasing individuality within the group. Jungkook even said he just wants to keep listening to the songs without overanalyzing them, like a fan enjoying music purely. Throughout the live, one thing remained constant: his love for ARMY. He shared glimpses of his daily life, talked about technology like AI and deepfakes, and even commented on online negativity with a light tone. Despite everything, he chooses to focus on positivity and connection. As time passed, fatigue began to show. He yawned, smiled shyly, and mentioned wanting to sleep. Yet even in those final moments, he continued talking about music, recommending songs, and staying connected with fans until the very end. He closed the live with a simple promise: to give his best at the upcoming concert. And as always, he reassured ARMY of his sincere love. This live stream wasn't just about Jungkook as an idol. It was about Jungkook as a person, someone who gets hungry, sleepy, nervous, emotional, and full of love. Someone who is still figuring things out, just like everyone else. And perhaps most touching of all, it reminded fans that he's never truly alone. Because somewhere along the way, there has always been Jimin by his side. And maybe that's why this moment felt so powerful. Because beyond the stage, beyond the spotlight, what remains is something real. A quiet warmth. A genuine connection. A story that continues to live on, in every moment they share Purple Heart.
Like you, be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream